take the scissors and go up and cut right to the edge of the label. That's one reason why I leave a label on. It gives me a straight edge to go by. Okay, that's done. We'll wipe the water out of that. Throw the junk away. Okay, this is the last piece. This is the inner part where the candle's going to go. Now if you look at the bottom of this, it's got a little bit of a line right there, and then this is all kind of like pebble texture down here, and it's soft. So I'm going to use right there where the pebble texture stops and where it gets clear. I'm going to use that as my line. I'm going to hit it with some black magic marker just so I can see it a little bit better, and so you can see it a little bit better. Yep, just hit a drop of water with that marker. That's done for a while. Rewipe that. Try a different marker. There we go. Okay, I'm going to cut right along that line. First I'm going to take the utility knife and cut out in here, and then I'm going to trim it up with a pair of scissors. Okay, now we'll take the scissors, cut right along that line. This is fairly thin right here. It gets thicker once you get up around the edge, but right here it's fairly thin. I find that kind of ironic because that's the part of the bottle that's going to get most of the abuse when it's got fruit juice in it sitting on the rack, but nonetheless that's the thinnest part. Okay, now the only other thing I need to cut is this little piece that's left behind when you take the cap off. You can leave that there, but I just like to get rid of it. It just looks better. So I just take the utility knife, cut that off. Okay, that's good. Now, okay, now we've got the inner piece with the end cut out of it. Now we're going to set that on the table just like this with the thread sticking up. I want to take the Pepsi bottle with all the smooth clear sided down, and where it starts to choke in and have the curve on it where all the flutes are and everything, I'm going to have that up too. So we're going to be going like this. I'm going to put that right over that, and then we're going to pull it down on there like that. Okay. Now this one went on pretty easy. In fact, this was almost perfect. Some of them go on hard, some of them go on easy. Even the hard ones, if you just keep working a little bit, turn it, keep working, you can get it. But if it's too hard, just go to another bottle, try again. And I look at the end of it and make sure that the space all the way around here is the same. If it isn't, I move it a little bit. I don't want it on there lopsided. So I want this space right here between the two plastic pieces to be the same all the way around. Now we're going to seal the seam, which is key to the whole process. And that's the reason why I cut this edge here that bells out a little bit. That's key to getting this whole thing to seal, is having that edge so it sticks out a little bit so the tape will catch it. Took me a while to figure that out, and I think in the original plans I probably don't explain it that well. So this is the reason why I'm making the video, because some people have trouble with them leaking, and that's key to the whole thing, making sure that you cut this so it's belled back out so you've got an edge right here. Okay, let's get ready to tape this. Take a piece of tape a little over a foot long, look at the end of it, about right there, about 5/8 of an inch, rip it off. So you got a nice straight piece. I'm going to use the factory edge on the bottom. Check, make sure everything's lined up just the way it's supposed to be, and start that tape right on that line. Get it as straight as you can. Hold your thumb on it, and then pull it real tight and wipe it on a little bit. If you don't get it on the line, pick it back off, put it back down again. Just keep pulling it as tight as you can, stay on the line, and go all the way around the stove. Go all the way around the lantern. Been building too many stoves here, I'm starting to get punchy. Okay, now I've been all the way around. I'm just going to keep going until I run out of tape. Keep pulling, keep it tight so it hugs both sides of the seam. Almost there. Now I'm going to take my fingernail and just wipe that down right there on that edge. There. That should do it. And you don't even have to bother to check this. If you've got that on there that tight, that'll never leak. I've never had one leak like that. I used to check them all the time, then I had a hard time getting the water out of them, and I had to ship them with water in them or take them apart. So anyway, that's that part. Now we'll go to the next. Okay, for the next step, we're going to use your handy dandy soldering iron. I think this one is, it's not a very hot one. It's like 15 watts, but a 30 watt would work just as well. And plug that in and let it warm right up good and hot so it'll melt plastic. Okay, our soldering iron is hot. Now when we get ready to do the lantern, we're just going to set that in and let it sink in with very little pressure and then pull it out quick. Get a nice crisp even hole. The edges are sealed so it won't crack. Now we're going to do that all the way around the lantern, just below the tape, using the tape for a line to keep our line straight, keep our hole straight, and do it about every ½ inch all the way around the lantern. Okay, also, after we get these holes melted, if you come up here at the top and look real close, you'll see a seam where the die comes apart when they make these. Take your soldering iron and just don't go in all the way, just go in a little ways, make a small hole right there for your cable. Then go over on the other side, which will be exactly 180 out, find the other seam, make a little hole there too. Okay, now we're ready to put the cable. Okay, now we've got to make a cable to hang this from. I'm using, excuse me, I'm using a cable that they use to make beaded jewelry with. You can get it at most hobby stores. It's what they thread beads over when they make necklaces and bracelets and stuff. Comes on, this is a bulk reel, but you can get it in just little packages, and that'll be enough to do 2 or 3 lanterns. I'm going to pull off a couple feet. Going to cut it with a pair of scissors. It's pretty easy stuff to cut. Okay, now when you go to the store to get the cable, they have these little deals that clip the whole thing together. They're just a little stainless steel bead with a hole in the middle of it. I'm going to thread that over there. And I've got a special handy dandy pair of pliers, if you can get there too, to crimp it, but you don't really have to. You can use a regular set of pliers just fine. But if you're going to do this for a living and have all the latest stuff to work with. Okay. Now, I got that bead right in my fingers. I'm going to go to the hole we melted, and I'm going to go on the inside and go around and go through.